Hello, I'm Peggy O'Neill, and welcome to today's live learning, Preparing for the Future by Analysis and Intuition. I'm the founder of Answering the Call, which is a Facebook group where we are answering the initial call, a longing, a sense something's missing in my life, there's something more, I know there's something more to life. And as we answer that call and recognize, oh, what was really calling to me was knowing who I truly am, my essential nature as one being. And then, usually, as we know that, then there's another urge that appears that we want to express that knowing in our own unique way. And so that's the second aspect to answering the call, is to doing the work to discover and have that revealed to us what it is that we want to express with our lives. So thank you for being here, and we keep expanding this conversation. So it's then how do we live this out too? So a lot of practical, it's all practical, but a lot of things that seem like, oh, that's more practical. And today is one of those conversations, which is, oh, there's a future that's arriving. Maybe right now, there's never, as we know, there's really never a future. There's always only now. And yet, in our human experience, we do want to think about the future. You do think about, all of us think about, what am I going to have for dinner tonight? Or, what's my next appointment? Am I ready for that? So that's part of our human experience, is to think about, do I have the groceries in the cupboard? Do I have gas in the car? So that's the context of this conversation today. If you're here live, please say hi. And if you have any questions or comments at any time, please put them in the comments and I will respond. If you're watching this on replay, please put in hashtag replay. I love knowing that you were here. And the same thing, if you have questions, comments, put them in there. I will come back and answer them. All right, so let's get started. Prepare for the future by analysis and intuition. So today I'm going to share ideas that address specific challenges and opportunities and possibilities, specific challenges and possibilities, how to analyze with your mind and not your emotions, and how to engage the intuition that is you, not the intuition that is a skill. All right, so let's get started with ideas that address specific challenges and possibilities. So I often find that people are focused on their jobs, careers, their work, their families, and they know that there are things going on in the world like climate change, natural disasters, presidential elections, elections throughout the world, other issues throughout the world, and yet lots of times those are kind of separate. That they know that's going on, but it's like information, like a movie they read, or a novel, or a newspaper. But a lot of us don't then think, okay, well, now how's that going to impact me personally? How's that going to impact my job, my career, my organization, my business? So we want to bring that into focus today, and how we really want to integrate that in our lives, that we are one world, and whatever's going on anywhere is impacting us. Yes, it's the butterfly effect that we've all heard of, and that may not be literal, that the butterfly flaps its wings in China and creates a tornado here, but it is accurate in that, as one being, one entity, the world and the atmosphere and really the universe, everything is influencing and being influenced all of the time. It's like we're one big stew. You put another carrot in it, it's going to shift the flavor a little bit. So with that in mind, that's how we want to be thinking about what's going on in the world, and especially the upcoming elections in the United States. Well, I started to say if you're a United States citizen, but right now the whole world is watching, so it applies to everybody. So here are some specific things. So depending on whatever profession you're in, and of course I'm a coach and consultant, facilitator, trainer, author, then I've got that hat on. So I'm thinking about my own business, but then also all of my clients. So you want to, so depending on the type of business, then you'll be thinking a little bit differently about each of these things. But let's say you're a company that is a building company. You build buildings. well, then you'd be thinking about it from your own um, perspective and your employees and your community, but then also your suppliers, which I know, especially after COVID, most businesses are thinking more that way. But you think about your suppliers and shipping and transportation and all that. So you can think. So you want to be thinking about all those, all the direct um, people and organizations directly connected with you and what you do. So specifically, you want to stay informed and with this hat on, or maybe a combination of hats on. So keeping abreast of policy changes in this country, throughout the world, or whatever has to do with your industry, but also possibly other industries, or if you have clients industries. Do you know what's happening in those industries? How policies are uh, being made, and how they're being, and what they're being changed into, and economic trends, paying attention to economic trends that could impact clients, can impact you, impact industries. Um, Depending on, again, I'm a coach. A lot of people I know that pay attention to this work are coaches or consultants of some sort. So also to be uh, thinking about, besides my own business, I just said this with your clients, but also to think about what are there other types of coaching consulting offerings, or even in a construction industry, are there other types of services that you could bring that are important, maybe even this sort of topic, that you're educating your industry on what you know about what's coming or what could come or how to get prepared. So be thinking about diversifying offerings no matter what kind of business you're in. Know more about any sort of financial planning, tax implications of various things that could occur, and that's for your sake, for your clients, for your suppliers, and so that you've got more of a sense of how you could be impacted. Clients can be impacted by economic challenges, changes, so be thinking all of that through. Let's see, I'll see if there's anybody here since I'm conveying a lot of material now, and see if there are any questions or comments. Okay, I don't see any right now. All right. Let's see. How resilient are you? So there are trainings, including I do them too. Well, mine are focused in a way in knowing that we're inherently resilient. So it's not a training to come in and build resilience, but it's actually to help foster resilience. So if you're an organization that wants to do that from that perspective, I'd love to talk with you. But anyway, what's the resilience within your organization, or with your clients or your suppliers? So checking in with your suppliers too. Are they thinking this way? Are they going to be resilient? Do they have practices in their organization for these various things that could occur? So you start learning if your suppliers are as diligent, as informed, as flexible, as prepared as you are. That could impact either your relationship with them or another supplier that you might want to look into, or helping them start thinking this way, the current supplier. But then depending, like with me, then I'll be thinking too about how to support my clients, that they're more prepared, that they're building those resilience muscles. Let's see. And then, of course, and it's social climate too. So thinking about, so besides the economic climate and the business climate, what's the social climate? What's going to be, thinking about how the public's feeling and emotions, and how they're interacting or not interacting. So be thinking about that. And yeah, I'm, in a way, it can sound like I'm talking about, quote, negative things happen, but it's just the opposite too. What are the opportunities that go with all these things? Maybe you see a gap in your industry where other people aren't thinking this way. That could be a marketing advantage for you, possibly. In my kind of industry, uh, that with possible regulatory changes, other policy changes that could create opportunities for new business. So if you're somebody that's thinking about leaving your organization, maybe this could be a great time when there are major shifts in what's happening in the world and in the country. Creates opportunity for new types of business, new types of organizations. So that's something to consider. Um, let's see, strengthening your professional network. So, always good, always good to know people that are in your industry, in other industries, so that if you get laid off, or if you want to hire people, or you're expanding, or you want to change industries, that you have connections, you have relationships that can support you in moving fluidly in various directions. Now I'm saying a lot here, so just take a few that are that seem to resonate with you. At some point, you might want to address all these, but to begin with, pick one or two to start with, and have your list, and then start moving down them as you take on one and have that in your conversations in your organization or with yourself. Then add another one, so you don't have to think of doing this all at once, unless you want to. Let's see what else. Also, it's a good thing for scenario planning. You've probably heard of that organizations are very successful when they think about scenario planning. Okay, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if that happens? You might go, well, I don't know what's going to happen, so why bother? Well, what happens in organizations or small businesses when they think about it this way, then the fact that they thought about these various scenarios has them much, much, much better prepared for any scenario that comes up, because you've been thinking that way. You have various things in place for these different options or possibilities, and so you can move into a different area more quickly, because you're not caught surprised. Don't have because you do have other ideas, you're not caught not having other ideas. Stay in close communication with clients and suppliers. Letting them know what you know or think you know and you're hearing. Ask them what they're knowing and hearing, so that you're staying in good communication, and they might know something you don't, vice versa. Also, to keep up your own professional development, so that you're feeling strong, like you can take on things in the world. You're not going to be, collapse if there are major changes, because you've built up your own stamina, courage, resilience, ability to have other possibilities, and to be paying attention to the trends in your industry. Okay, let's see what else I've got here. As you can tell, I've got a long list of seeing what I want to say. And remembering, of course, technology is a big part of our lives now. So making sure that you're starting to use AI, integrating it into your day. Of course, we do, yes, with our phones. We've got AI in our phones. But I'm talking about ChatGPT type AI and other AI that probably is something I don't know about. So, but making sure that you're aware of that, what people are doing, how they're using it, and use it responsibly. I'll say that. I think we need to use AI as a tool and not use it as something we're dependent on. So I'll make that distinction. Also, be aware that, of course, there's a lot of talk about mental health issues. I don't quite relate to it that way. I don't think of it that way. I think of it as people. So it's not mental health issues as far as I'm concerned. It's the ups and downs of life, and that as a culture we have not been skillful or responsible to help us all be better at being able to maneuver the storms of life, to ride the waves, to embrace the waves, and that we think we're supposed to change our thoughts, get rid of emotions, not feel emotions, and all of that is actually impacting our mental health, because none of that can happen Then we really feel bad about ourselves in life. So, but paying attention to the um, um, the emotional well-being of ourselves and other people, and how they're being impacted by all of this, and think about how that might impact your industry, or create a new product or a new service for clients if you're a coach or consultant, or in some sort of industry where that is something that's a natural, kind of a natural marriage with your industry. Since people say that we're very polarized, yes, there are factions of the United States that are very polarized. Most of the rest of us want the same things. So we've just been told we're polarized, so a lot of us act and think that way. I don't, but many people think that's occurring because they've been told that. Anyway, that's another conversation. But to be thinking more about, okay, this may be occurring, or people think it is, then maybe I want to emphasize community building. How do I focus on bringing us together, finding common ground, and using that in no matter what industry that you're in, thinking about it as community building and fostering common ground. And of course, can't repeat enough, staying informed with all of this. And I think that's everything. Oh, and then to also think about, being a responsible citizen in all ways. I'm connecting it to business right this minute, but to be paying attention to what are the developments in your profession, the policy changes that could occur, and then advocating. What do you want, and how do you want to participate in these organizations in a way that what you want is being heard, is being voiced in your organization? So thinking about that, so that you're not a victim of what's developed because you weren't heard. Well, get yourself heard. Get in there. If you need to learn skills to do that, then do that as well. All right. So now we'll move into how to analyze with your mind and not your emotions, because we do want to be able to analyze what's going on in the world, and do it in a not in a reactionary way, but in more of a responsive way. Now, as I alluded to a couple of minutes ago, we cannot do away with our emotions. We can't get rid of what we call negative emotions. We can't get rid or have more positive emotions. Emotions come and go. Yes, there are ways of living and believing and understanding life that impacts maybe more of one and less of another, that sort of thing. But there's no way to change emotions or keep them from moving through us. But what we can do is to be aware of that, and when we are analyzing, assessing, doing scenario planning, that if we notice fear coming up, panic coming up, ambivalence or apathy coming up, or I can't handle this, something like that coming up, that you notice those, and then don't proceed if any of that's happening. Do not proceed. Why? Because that's going to totally influence anything you think of. So you're not actually analyzing from as neutral a place as you can get, but you're analyzing through fear. You're seeing through the glasses of fear, through the glasses of it can't be done, whatever it is. So that is not a time. So either you take a few breaths, if it's fairly minor, you take a break. Do it another time, an hour, a day, a week from now. But so that's the first thing, to notice that, oh, you're getting really influenced by emotions here. Take a break, take a breath. Okay, then let's say you're realizing, okay, yeah, the panic's coming up, but it's not like so overwhelming I can't proceed. But to notice that, and then to welcome them. Just, okay, allow them, just like you would clouds in the sky. If you were the sky, the sky isn't trying to get rid of the clouds. So, you don't try to get rid of the emotions, you welcome them. That often allows them then to just kind of keep moving, and you don't put your attention on the emotions. You actually relax your attention from them and then focus on what you want. You can almost think of it as two channels. The emotional channel that's on and you're being totally influenced by that, or you recognize that and you shift your focus of attention. You can't turn it off, so I'm not saying you turn off the channel. It's still there in the background, but you're aware of it, and you can notice when you're starting to get too influenced by it. I mean, we're always influenced by it, so I'm not saying that won't happen, but it's how much influence. So you notice it, you're aware of it, it's in the background, okay, and now you're on a different channel, the one that's focused on what you want. So you want to be thinking about that too. That's not the purpose of this call, but you want to bring your, well, I mean, except in this moment, what you want is to be thinking about the future, analyzing, assessing, and so that's what you want. Sorry, yes, that is what you want. So you focus on, that's what you're up to right now. So you're just not focusing on the emotions, relaxing your attention from them and focusing on what, like the purpose of what we're talking about today, which would be what you're applying all this information to. So, okay, I want to be thinking about the future and what's happening in the world. Okay. And then how to engage the intuition that is you and not the intuition that is a skill. So a lot of us have been taught, oh, let's develop your intuition. Let's get better at being more intuitive. And there is an overlap here, but the distinction is that when we know who we truly are, this one being, and we realize it's not my intuition, there's not a separate self that's intuiting, that there is a being here, a body mind, that is receiving information. And that right there makes a difference in our ability to know revelations, to know new ideas, because now we're recognizing that they're coming from source, not from me. Now, there's still a thing to discern here, because we're so conditioned that we think they come from a me, that it could feel like that we start learning how to discern which ideas, although the ego technically can't have intuitive type ideas because it's a finite mind. It only knows the information that it knows, so it can't have new ideas. But so we really get this. It's very hard to discern that, and so we might have a new idea, okay, and then, but we can notice what it feels like. If it feels tight, constricted, fearful, anything like that, that's not intuition, and that is the ego. There's nothing wrong with the ego, but that's where it's coming from. So the intuition that is you, the ideas are probably going to be more vague. It's not going to be like a real clear, do this, or this is what needs to happen. It's going to be more of a sense that our mind translates into a thought. And so it's going to feel that sort of vagueness to it. It's going to feel more like a nudge. And so intuition occurs usually in little nudges, little nuggets, not this big insight. And sometimes I had big insight earlier today. It's like, wow, okay. So that happens too. But we don't want to be looking for that or having to have an answer right now. So to engage the intuition that is you ask for some information about this, or ask, you don't ever say, what should I do? Because that's the egoic thing, wanting the right answer, or from that sort of solution-based approach to more like, what are some ideas that can help me here? Or what wants to be expressed here? Or what wants to be revealed here? Something more like that. And then you're still and you see what comes to you. And it might not come to you during that time of questioning. But then we pay attention. We're regularly paying attention to little nudges. Oh, that just came to me. Okay. And so it's that. That's how to engage the intuition that is you, and not the intuition that's a skill. All right, so are there any questions today? I do not see any. Again, if you have them at any time, let me know. Okay, so I have another complimentary workshop coming up. I'd love to tell you about it. One of the people at the last one said, that was amazing. So that was the first comment. That was amazing. So I hope you'll join us. The next one is Tuesday, July 23rd, from 11 to 12:30 Central. and it's it's the same workshop. Pursue your true desires. Move deeply into what is actually true. Sorry. Pursue your true desires. Move deeper into what is actually true. So this is a workshop to give you um, um, skills and learning into how to know your true desires, and then how to move past what wants to stop us naturally. And the way we do that is knowing more what's actually true. So you'll discover the number one reason you aren't able to realize your dreams, 3 steps to free yourself so you can live them, and 3 actionable activities to start pursuing the dreams now. So I hope you'll join us. Just message me if you want to attend, and I will get you the Zoom link. All right, so it was great sharing this information with you today. If you have any questions, just reach out to me, and let's start engaging our planning and our thoughts about the future with possibilities, and knowing the challenges, being aware, and integrating all of that so that we can be as successful as we can be with our careers, our work, our families, our communities. Bye.